Something interesting is happening in the humanoid robot race. America and China are no longer building the same type of robot in different bodies. Boston Dynamics is taking Atlas toward industrial work, where the robot needs strength, endurance, smart balance, and the ability to handle tough factory conditions. Unitree is taking the G1 toward a more open world, where the robot needs to be smaller, cheaper, easier to use, and more natural around people. Atlas is built to carry, work, and repeat difficult tasks. G1 is built to move, respond, perform, and interact. That difference is what makes this showdown so important. So let's compare Atlas and G1 and see which version of the humanoid future looks more powerful. The clearest proof came from the latest demonstrations. Atlas showed its industrial side by picking up a 100-pound mini-fridge filled with random items, the kind of awkward object a robot could face in a real workspace. The fridge was bulky, the weight was uneven, and Atlas still adjusted its body while keeping control. That moment showed why its build matters. At about 6 feet 3 inches tall and roughly 198 pounds, Atlas has the size, frame, and balance needed for physical work. Its electric actuators replaced the old hydraulic setup, giving it cleaner movement, better control, and the ability to lift around 110 pounds in short bursts, or carry around 66 pounds through longer tasks. Unitree's G1 showed another kind of strength. On America's Got Talent, 8 G1 robots danced beside a human performer, staying coordinated on a live stage. In other demos, G1 turns voice commands into planks, kneeling, half-squat walks, turns, and dance moves. At about 4 feet 4 inches tall and 77 pounds with the battery in, G1 is not trying to overpower heavy objects. It is built to move smoothly around people. If Atlas can lift a 100-pound mini-fridge today, what do you think it will be lifting inside factories in the next few years? Tell me below in the comments. Movement and dexterity make the contrast even more interesting, because Atlas and G1 use their bodies for very different goals. Atlas is not just copying human movement, it is pushing past human limits with strong joints, fast balance control, and a body that can twist into positions most people could never hold safely. During Hyundai's School of Football campaign, Atlas performed the Ghost Rabona, a difficult fake-out soccer kick where one leg crosses behind the other before striking the ball. That move needs timing, balance, and full body control, and Atlas pulled it off using 56 degrees of freedom, dynamic balance, and joints that rotate beyond normal human motion. G1 proves something else. Instead of showing heavy athletic power, it shows how expressive a lighter humanoid can be around people. It has danced to Gangnam Style, kneeled like a proposal gesture, followed multi-step voice commands, and performed routines closer to stage movement than factory motion. Depending on the version, G1 uses 23 to 43 degrees of freedom, and the EDU model adds dexterous hands for more human-like interaction. Atlas moves with industrial athleticism. G1 moves with rhythm, expression, and social presence. The brain behind each robot takes the story into AI. Atlas is being pushed toward industrial intelligence, where the robot has to see a task, understand the space, plan the motion, handle objects, and repeat useful work without every step being hand-programmed. Boston Dynamics is working with Google DeepMind to bring Gemini robotics foundation models into Atlas, which points toward better decision-making inside real physical environments. NVIDIA chips help with perception and planning, so Atlas can move toward longer tasks involving parts, tools, and changing factory situations. G1 goes in a more human-facing direction. Its most interesting brain feature is voice-driven real-time action generation. A person can speak to the robot can answer back, and then it can turn that command into body motion on the spot. That is why G1 has been shown saying, "Please wait a moment, I'm thinking," before moving. Atlas is learning industrial skills. G1 is learning how to understand human instructions and turn them into movement. Sensing and hand control add another layer to the comparison. Atlas is built to read a workplace, so it uses wide camera coverage, tactile feedback in its hands, barcode support, RFID integration, and protection against dust and water. A factory robot has to recognize parts, feel contact, track objects, and keep working even when the floor is not perfectly clean. Its hands are not only for holding objects. They help Atlas feel contact and adjust its grip during real tasks. G1 is built for more human-facing spaces. It uses depth cameras, 3D LiDAR, a 4-microphone array, and a 5-watt speaker to understand room space, hear commands, and respond around people. On the EDU version, Unitree can add dexterous hands, giving G1 a better way to gesture, grasp, and experiment with touch. Atlas senses like a worker. G1 senses like an interactive companion. Power and autonomy show why Atlas is being treated like a production robot instead of a stage robot. A humanoid built for factories cannot perform once and wait for someone to reset it. It has to return again and again, shift after shift. Atlas runs for roughly 4 hours per charge, but the bigger point is its self-swappable battery setup. It can walk to its own charging station and change power without constant human help. That matters because Hyundai wants humanoids that can support long factory cycles with very little babysitting. G1 runs about 2 hours per charge and has no autonomous battery swap. That does not make G1 weak. It shows a different mission. G1 is built for research sessions, classroom use, development work, public demos, and shorter interaction windows. Durability follows the same design logic. Atlas is prepared for tough factory floors, where robots may face dust, water, tools, parts, temperature changes, and constant physical work. Its IP67 rating and operating range from -4 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit show that Boston Dynamics is preparing it for industrial conditions, not just clean lab testing. G1 is built for a softer environment. Its lighter shell and indoor-focused design make more sense for labs, schools, homes, and controlled spaces where the robot can move near people without needing the same level of industrial protection. Atlas is built to survive the factory. G1 is built to be practical in human spaces. What matters more for humanoid robots? Stronger sensing for factory work, or better interaction for human spaces? Tell me below. Production and price bring the reality check. Atlas is not being sold like a consumer gadget, and Boston Dynamics has not publicly listed a normal retail price for it. This is an enterprise robot aimed at manufacturers, which means it is built for factory deals, not personal orders. Hyundai is targeting around 25,000 Atlas units across its factories by 2028, and that kind of rollout only makes sense if Atlas can help with parts sequencing, workstation tending, logistics, and repetitive physical work. G1 is taking the more accessible road. Unitree's G1 starts around $16,000 before taxes and shipping, and the robot is available through global sales channels, putting it within reach of researchers, educators, developers, and robotics teams. Atlas is scaling through factories. G1 is spreading through price and access. So, where do these robots actually belong? Atlas belongs in automotive factories, parts handling, heavy logistics, workstation tending, and industrial workflows where strength, reliability, and repetition matter most. It is the kind of robot that could work beside production lines and take on jobs that are tiring, awkward, or physically demanding for humans. G1 belongs in a different world. Schools, homes, research labs, hospitality spaces, entertainment stages, and developer environments. Its America's Got Talent appearance showed that clearly. The point was not heavy lifting. The point was coordination, public performance, and making humanoid robots feel more familiar to people. Strip everything else away, and the core comparison is simple. Atlas is an industrial powerhouse built for strength, endurance, durability, and real work. G1 is an agile communicator built for movement, voice interaction, accessibility, and human-facing use. One robot is trying to become the coworker that handles difficult physical labor. The other is trying to become the platform that brings humanoids closer to everyday people. Both are humanoid, but they are not chasing the same finish line. Atlas is built to prove robots can work. G1 is built to prove robots can spread. Which robot has the stronger real-world path? Atlas working inside factories, or G1 spreading through education, research, and entertainment? Tell me below. And that is the real takeaway from Atlas versus G1. The humanoid race is not moving toward one perfect robot anymore. It is splitting into different paths for different worlds. Atlas shows what happens when a humanoid is built for factories, strength, endurance, and serious physical work. G1 shows what happens when a humanoid is built for access, movement, conversation, and human spaces. One robot is trying to prove that humanoids can work. The other is trying to prove that humanoids can spread. And this is why 2026 feels like the starting line, not the finish line. The big question now is simple. Which path will shape the next decade of robotics? AI robots are getting way too serious now. Unitree has unveiled a real mecha robot. A new kind of humanoid is also coming, one that can actually feel touch through artificial skin. And Figure's F.03 robot went head-to-head with a human worker for 10 full hours. Unitree's GD01 mecha looks like anime turned into a real machine China wants to sell. A machine that looks like it escaped from a Transformers movie now has a cockpit, a price tag, and a company claiming it can be mass-produced. That is why Unitree's GD01 feels different, because this is not only a robot people are watching from outside. A human pilot actually sits inside while the machine walks, transforms, and moves around them. Unitree is pitching the GD01 as the world's first mass-produced transformable mecha, and the demo makes that claim feel almost unreal. The pilot sits inside a cockpit built into the torso, while the machine walks forward on two legs like a humanoid. Then the body changes its shape and drops into a four-legged crawling mode, meaning the same robot can switch between two movement styles while carrying a person inside. The scale makes the whole thing feel even more serious. The GD01 weighs around 1,102 pounds, 500 kilograms, with the pilot on board, which is almost like watching a grand piano move down the street by itself. Unitree says the body uses high-strength alloy, and in the demo, the machine winds up and punches through a brick wall. That moment matters because Unitree is showing more than motion. It is showing that the robot can handle real force and deliver force back. The price is another reason this reveal stands out. Unitree lists the GD01 at around $650,000 and is positioning it as a civilian transport vehicle, not just a one-time stage experiment. That does not mean people will be driving mechas on normal roads tomorrow, but it does mean Unitree is treating this as something buyers may eventually reserve and receive. This also fits Unitree's bigger momentum. The company has already shown humanoids doing spinning kicks, synchronized kung fu, and athletic moves that go far beyond basic walking. Compared with Japan's Archax, which costs around $3 million and moves on wheels at about 6.2 miles per hour, 10 kilometers per hour, the GD01 feels more aggressive because it walks, transforms, carries a pilot, and costs far less. So the GD01 feels bigger than a strange demo. It shows that robots are no longer just becoming workers or performers. Some are starting to become vehicles, and that makes the mecha future feel much closer than it should. The GD01 is built to punch through walls, but not every humanoid is chasing raw force. Some are being designed for the exact opposite, soft touch and gentle hands. Shanghai's Matrix 3 humanoid robot is built to feel, think, and work around people. Matrix Robotics has revealed the Matrix 3 at its AI Day event in Shanghai, and it looks like one of China's boldest humanoid launches of 2026. The real highlight is not just its design or walking ability. The bigger story is that Matrix 3 is being built as a robot that can feel touch, understand voice commands, and work inside normal human spaces. The most interesting part is its artificial skin. Matrix Robotics has wrapped the robot in a 3D woven fabric with tiny sensors built directly into it. This means the robot can sense touch across its body, instead of depending only on cameras. For a humanoid working around people, that is important because it needs to understand pressure, contact, and movement in a much more natural way. The fingertips can detect pressure as low as 0.02 pounds force, 0.1 newtons, which is gentle enough to hold soft objects like fruit without damaging them. Each hand also has 27 degrees of freedom, giving the fingers a high level of movement. Instead of stiff mechanical fingers, Matrix 3 uses cable-driven tendons, similar to how human fingers move. This helps the robot hold tools, fold cloth, and pass objects more smoothly. The brain behind the robot is Matrix Robotics' Wave model. This system is built for zero-shot learning, which means the robot can hear a new voice command and try to understand the task without special retraining. That matters because service robots cannot survive on pre-programmed demos alone. They need to handle new jobs in real environments. For movement, Matrix 3 can walk at around 1.6 to 2.4 miles per hour, 2.5 to 3.9 kilometers per hour, and its walking style was trained using real human motion capture data. The robot stands about 5 feet 7 inches, 1.7 meters, tall, and weighs around 143 pounds, 65 kilograms, making it close to adult human size without feeling too large for homes, hotels, stores, or service spaces. Its battery lasts around 4 hours on one charge. Matrix Robotics is led by Zhang Haixing, also known as Alan Zhang, who previously worked on Tesla China's design and research efforts. The company is preparing a Shanghai factory for 10,000 robots a year, with the first 1,000 units planned by the end of June 2026. Pricing starts around $85,000 and goes up to about $99,000 for the Matrix 3 PRO. Matrix 3 is shaped to serve people gently, but humanoids face a much tougher test on the warehouse floor. And one robot was just pushed to that limit for 10 full hours. Figure's 03 humanoid just nearly matched a human worker in a full warehouse shift. Figure has run one of the most important humanoid robot tests we have seen so far, because this was not a quick demo made for a perfect camera angle. The company placed its F.03 humanoid robot, nicknamed Bob, against a human intern named Amy in a package sorting race that lasted for 10 full hours. The task looked simple from the outside, but it was the kind of repetitive work that happens every day inside warehouses. Each package had to be picked up, checked for the barcode, flipped into the correct position, placed barcode down, and pushed onto the conveyor belt. That may sound easy, but doing it again and again for an entire shift is where the test becomes serious. By the end, Ame sorted 12,924 packages. Bob sorted 12,732 packages. The human still won, but only by 192 parcels across the full shift. AIM averaged about 2.79 seconds per package, while Bob averaged about 2.83 seconds. That means the robot was only about 4/100ths of a second slower on each package, which is a shockingly small gap for a humanoid doing physical warehouse work. The bigger point is that figure says Bob ran fully autonomously on its Helix O2 software. That means there was no hidden human controlling the robot's arms from behind the scenes. The robot had to look at each parcel, understand where the barcode was, choose how to grab it, move both hands correctly, and place it on the line by itself. This becomes even harder with soft parcels because plastic bags bend, slide, wrinkle, and change shape the moment the robot touches them. Bob still had to grip each parcel firmly enough to move it, but gently enough to avoid crushing the barcode or messing up the conveyor flow. The test was still controlled, with good lighting and limited package types, so it is not the same as a chaotic Amazon or UPS warehouse floor. But a 10-hour live stream from Figure's San Jose headquarters is still much harder to dismiss than a short edited clip. The human won this race. But the real story is that the robot lost by almost nothing. Figure nearly matched a human inside a clean warehouse shift, but real warehouses are far messier than that. And another company just showed how its robots handle that chaos. RLWRLD's box packing demo shows why humanoid robot hands are becoming a serious warehouse tool. RLWRLD's new demo may look like a simple box packing task, but the real story is much bigger than picking up one small package. It shows how humanoid robots are starting to handle moving objects, timing, touch, and teamwork in the kind of messy environments where warehouse robots usually struggle. In the demo, the first robot reaches toward a moving conveyor belt and picks up a small turquoise box with its 5-finger hand. It does not just grab the box randomly. The robot lifts it, turns it into the right position, keeps it stable, and places it down in a way that prepares it for the next step. Then the second robot comes in, picks up the same box, and places it neatly inside a white shipping box. What makes this important is that the robots are not just repeating a simple pre-recorded move. The label on the screen says RLDX-1, fully autonomous, 1x speed, which means the task is happening at normal speed without a human controlling the robots in the background. In other words, the robots are watching the belt, judging the box position, adjusting their hands, and completing the packing task by themselves. The brain behind this is RLDX1, a dexterity-first foundation model built by RLWRLD for industrial work. Many robot systems mostly depend on cameras, but RLDX1 combines video, language, body position, touch, torque, and memory. That means the robot is not only looking at the box. It is also sensing how the object feels in its hand, tracking how it moves, and using recent memory to avoid mistakes. This matters because real warehouses are not perfect demo rooms. Boxes slide, belts keep moving, objects shift, and a robot has only a small window to grab things correctly. If the hand reacts late, the whole task fails. RLWRLD is trying to solve that exact problem. The company claims RLDX1 reached 86.8% success on ALLEX humanoid tasks, while a competing model reached around 40%. The system also runs at about 43.7 milliseconds per step on an RTX 5090, which is fast enough for live warehouse work. RLWRLD has now raised about $26 million in Seed 2 funding, bringing total seed funding to about $41 million. With partners like CJ Logistics and Lata, the company is clearly aiming beyond demos and toward real packing lines, factories, and distribution centers.